Okay, Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. So, in this tutorial, I would like to share my opinion on which programming language you should choose first to learn, and why you should consider it. Yeah, yeah, you may already be familiar with programming, so I'm not going to dive into the explanation of what daily programming is. So, the topic of this video is that why you should consider starting programming with C. Now, now you might be wondering why I am supposed to start with C, or why you are teaching programming in C. To answer this is very simple. It depends on you what do you want to be in the future. Like if you want to go deeper in the and master the concepts of the things, then in that case you should really be starting with C. I've seen many programmers starting their programming journey with Python, with JavaScript, so yeah, directly with high-level programming languages like Python, Java, JavaScript, as I just said earlier. Now, there is nothing wrong with starting with that high-level programming languages, but those high-level programming languages doesn't make your base of the programming. Like high level programming languages don't really walk you through with some of the very major concepts that you really need to be familiar with if you want to stand out in the field of software engineering in industry and really want to have the root level knowledge. So then I would highly recommend you to start with programming with your programming journey with C. Now, I can give some of, I can give couple of reasons on this point that I can mention. I'm going to share you with couple of reasons that might satisfy you to start your programming journey with C. Now, the first and the foremost, the important one is that C really gives you an understanding of the concept from the root level. And there are some concepts that you won't bother learning in those high level programming languages as they are essential for you to understand. If you want to be a good programmer and if you want to have the root level knowledge. Now, for example, let's take an example. Let's suppose you're studying your programming with Python. Now, there is a term called memory handling, or how memory works, or how things is going on behind the computer's memory, but you won't bother learning it in Python. So, but C will help you, and C will give you the best understanding of this, like memory concept, how this really works behind the scenes. And second point, I would like to mention here that you have to tell C everything. And what do I mean by that? For example, if you want to define a variable, you would have to tell what kind of data need to be stored. C is not going to figure it out by itself, like other programming languages, and you handle everything by yourself. So there is nothing like automatic handling or something like all I just or something like that, or like a garbage handler, memory handler. That like all I just mean is that whatever you do is dependent on you. If you were to allocate some memory, for example, let's suppose, okay, if you were to allocate some memory, and when you say allocate, I mean like when you are like borrowing some memory from the computers, like from computer, yeah, then it is your responsibility to give it back to the computer, and you have to know it is a concept that you have to give it back to the computer. You have to free that memory. So, all I mean, by all means, all all things are dependent on you. And once again, there is nothing wrong with starting with Python or JavaScript. But if you really want to be a great programmer and want to have the root level knowledge of the things going on, I would highly encourage and recommend you to start with C. And trust me, it is not hard as it seems to be. Now, I've seen many successful programmers who is starting their programming with C. Now, if you want to go directly to in web development and don't want bother and you don't want to You don't want to bother learning anything like related to memory concepts, something like that. Maybe you can just directly jump to JavaScript for web development, or just directly jumping to the high level programming languages. But it would be the best thing that you if you would have started with C. So yeah, and to conclude that my points, I would say that now there is nothing wrong with that once again, but starting with those high level programming languages doesn't make your solid base for the programming. High level programming languages doesn't give you, you know, they don't really walk you through with some of the very major concepts as we mentioned earlier. And you may have noticed in Python, like now when I was on the point two where I was saying, like talking about you have to tell C everything. Now, for example, now you are writing a program in C, like you now for example, if you were to define a variable, you would have to tell like what kind of variable it is and what kind of data is going to be stored. So kind of a little complex, but it is not complex. Things make sense when you think logically. So yeah, and but in Python, you wouldn't bother just like what kind of data need to be stored in this variable. It would just figure it out automatically what kind of data you are trying to store. So yeah, if you were to store a string in um, C, you would have to say char star for string. If you were to store in a number, you would have to say int, put int before your variable name, because that's how the C compiler or C language works. Actually, all things make sense in C. If you see or observe, you everything will make sense. So yeah, I think without going more deeper in this subject, I would like to end this video by saying Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.